What is going on, everybody? We're here. We're live on Sports Wars for Monday evening quarterback. And it's a miserable Monday. Not a victory Monday, not even a loss Monday. It's a miserable Monday, at least for me as a Chicago Bears fan. Because, listen, I've been through some bad times as a Bears fan. I've been through some rough times, including the past decade or so. I don't know if I've ever felt more disgusted than not only in watching the game against the New England Patriots, a team who had 15 sacks on the year before they played the Chicago Bears, and their offensive line that you might as well just stack up 5 jars of mayonnaise in front of Caleb Williams. They'd have a better chance of winning a pass block than the Bears offensive line does right now. I don't know if I've ever been more disgusted, not only by the result of the game and of the lack of changing of the strategy of the play calls of anything that's going on, but then in the 12 to 24 hours after the fact, where the entire coaching staff, who should be fired, Matt Eberflus should be fired right now. Shane Waldron, 1,000% should have been fired after the game, should have been fired 3 games ago. But instead, what's the news out of Hallis Hall right now? Oh, Matt Eberflus goes, well, we're looking to make some changes. I don't know. We got to take accountability. The same retarded shit that this bitch has been saying for 3 fucking years. Matt Eberflus, great defensive coordinator, okay? Not head coaching material. I don't care that you did your hair. I don't care that you grew a beard. I don't care that you want to look the part for the job on Hard Knocks on HBO over the summer. Fuck you. You are not a leader. No one respects you. And what the fuck are you doing? You have not taken accountability at all. You haven't convinced anyone that you're going to make any changes at all. Caleb Williams was pressured on 70% of his dropbacks. He was sacked 9 times, the week after being sacked 6 times. And you know what? Of all of the plays, I watched the entire game, watched the entirety of every single Chicago Bears game. Caleb missed probably 3 throws, legitimately missed 3 throws that he should have had during the game. 2 of those sacks on Caleb, holding the ball a little bit too long. The other 7, there's nothing you can do. And you continue to put your quarterback in these situations and run route combinations that do not make sense. The Bears have more man coverage played against them than anyone else. And with all the talent out there, somehow can't scheme a way to get a guy like DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet, or an aging Keenan Allen open before 2.5 seconds expires when Caleb Williams is already getting sacked. Shane Waldron needs to be out of a job immediately. But no, you fuck sticks. You retards in Bears management. I don't know if it's a Ryan Poles decision. I don't know if it's a George McCaskey decision. I don't care that in the 100 years of this franchise, you've never fired a coach in the middle of the season. You need to do it now. You need to clean house. It's ridiculous. It's disgusting. Chicago Bears fans, don't boo to just boo, okay? We've seen a lot of shit. We don't boo unless there's a reason to boo. Bears fans were booing all day yesterday. Rightly so. The decisions, the play calling decisions do not make sense. And now you have a guy, uber talented in Caleb Williams, who doesn't have a fucking chance. Doesn't have a chance in hell to do anything. And if you watch that entire game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're a Bears fan, you're probably as miserable as I am. I've been listening to Chicago Sports Talk Radio pretty much all day today because I'm miserable. So it helps me when I hear other people who are just as miserable as me. This is embarrassing. It's disgusting. And this is a pretty good summation. Matt Eberflus, the bitch that he is, calls into Cap and Company, calls into Cap, talk to Cap and Jay Hood in the morning, right? Morning talk show, always does the morning after the Matt Eberflus segment when he calls in. He had nothing of value to say. No actual, just no meaningful things to say. Just more stuff like, hey, we got to stick together. We got to be on the same page. We all support each other over here. We got to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And finally, after having been disconnected twice because the connection is so terrible, I don't know why. You do this show every fucking week. What's the problem? This happens.
We got to pull those experiences.
Coach, your cell phone's as bad as the offense right now. Hold and see if we can reestablish.
It's embarrassing. It's disgusting. And everyone has seen enough. But the franchise, the organization refused to fire this fuck. They refuse to, and maybe they make a move off Shane Waldron later this week. I think there's probably going to be a different play caller. You got to do it now. You have to do it on Monday and say, hey, something needs to change. We need to change something. They're going to get obliterated by the Packers next week at Soldier Field. That's just what's going to happen. And I get it. Injuries happen. That offensive line was a weakness to start the season because they didn't bother doing that. They signed DeAndre Swift. They signed Keenan Allen. And I was excited about both of those things because I like both of those players. But you didn't fix the key part of your team, which was the offensive line. And yes, injuries happen in the NFL. I get it. Both your starting left tackles are gone. You're on your backup center. At one point in time, you had like three practice squad guys on that offensive line yesterday. But injuries happen in the NFL. Good coaches, good play callers make adjustments. That has not happened all season long. Guess what? The fucking Packers, their starting quarterback, who they paid $55 million to, whatever the hell Jordan Love's getting, he went down. You had to put in Malik Willis, who was a joke. But guess what? Good coaches find ways to win with the players they have, or at least make adjustments to not get embarrassed. And there's no good coaches in Chicago right now. That's just the reality. That's just the truth. And everyone on that team knows it, even if they're not saying it. And it's the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen as a Chicago Bears fan. And that's saying a lot, considering some of the things I've watched.
That's a hell of a rant, man.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't planning on starting it out that way, but there you go.
Well, unfortunately, I'm right there with you because the Giants played at 9 o'clock in the morning yesterday in Germany against the dog shit, horrible Carolina Panthers. And I was thinking, you know what? The Giants played, they have played well overseas the past 3 years with Brian Dable. We're at least going to win this one. We're at least going to win this game against the Carolina Panthers. Get some momentum going. It's not like we have anything to play for the rest of the season except for our dignity. And we fall flat again. And if you're a Giants fan, you've been watching every single game this year, we have a bigger problem than Daniel Jones. We also have a coaching problem. Mike Kafka, who's been calling our plays for the past 2.5 years, now Brian Dable is calling the offensive plays, and it's not much fucking better. We have all of the talent. Wan'Dale Robinson, Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton was down, but you bring in a guy like Jalen Hyatt, second year. A lot of people are excited for Jalen Hyatt. We have a brand new great rookie running back, Tyrone Tracy. He's been doing real well. We have an offensive play calling problem as well in New York, and it's getting disgusting because our offensive line is actually halfway decent this year. Daniel Jones used to be running for his life in years past. Now we finally have built up an offensive line, and we still can't get it done. Daniel Jones, yeah, granted, he didn't score a touchdown yesterday. 2 interceptions doesn't help that as well, but he still went 22 for 37, 200 passing yards, but we just can't get anything going because of the stupid fucking play calling that's going on. There's a serious problem, and I do like Dable. I like that he's a player's coach, but something's got to change. And unfortunately, he's going to wind up getting his ass fired. Now, who's out there? Who's out there to bring in to New York? Because it's going to be an entire new regime, and that's if Joe Schoen doesn't get fired too, our GM, because Joe Schoen, who he hired, brought in Brian Dable. That was his guy in Buffalo. They're like a package deal. So it's going to be real awkward when Joe Schoen has to fire Brian Dable, and then what? We're going to rebuild for the second time in 3 years? It's going to be absolutely ridiculous what's going to happen in New York. And you know my dream scenario, I've talked about it before, would be how nice would it be to bring in Bill Belichick back to the New York Giants? That's where he started. He won 2 Super Bowls with the New York Giants as the defensive coordinator back in the 80s. It would be a real good, feel-good story for the Giants to bring Bill Belichick back, because who the fuck else is out there? I don't really want anybody else. If we're not going to get Bill Belichick, then fuck, I hate to say it, I'd still rather keep Brian Dable. But it's been a rough 11 going on 12 years being a New York Giants fan, because ever since Tom Coughlin retired, it has been a coaching carousel in New York, and we pretty much ruined and wasted the end of Eli Manning's career with shitty coaching, with freaking what's his name, Ben McAdoo, Pat Shurmur, Joe Judge, and now Brian Dable. It's been an absolute fucking joke Okay, for the Giants. Poor offensive line play ruined the end of Eli Manning's career. And now we're seeing Daniel Jones, who Daniel Jones has had flashes of being great, or at least being better than mediocre. And it sucks. I feel for the kid because it's not entirely his fucking fault. It's not. He needs to play better, but we have a serious offensive regime problem going on in New York, and I hate to watch my fucking Giants struggle like this, especially against the shitty Carolina Panthers. Unbelievable. We made Bryce Young look like a fucking great game manager yesterday with how he played.
Yeah. Sam Becker for 10. Chicago O-line have Williams time in the pocket. He held the ball too long. I don't know if you're just trolling me or not. If you're not trolling, you're a retarded queer. Like, you just are. I watched the entire game, and I've watched every one of those sacks over again as well. The 9 sacks that were taken. 2 of them, I think you can blame on Caleb. 1 for holding the ball too long and not leaving the pocket early. I think that might have been the first one of the game that he took. The second one where he probably should have dumped it off to, maybe it was Roshan. I don't know if it was Swift or Roshan in the flat that was kind of his dump off. And he kind of went over it, tried to find a better read, didn't happen, and he got sacked. The other ones, he does not have enough time. You are retarded if you actually think that. And I'm not saying that Caleb Williams he's just playing great when he gets time. No. And he missed a couple throws that he should have had. He also had a couple more drops, just like we saw last week. Drops happen in the NFL. Missed throws happen in the NFL. But no, the Chicago Bears offensive line is horrendous. They are horrendous. It's just the bottom line. We knew they were a weakness coming out of last season. We knew they were a weakness and it needed to be fixed. They didn't do anything to fix it, really at all. And they've had a ton of injuries, and sometimes those things happen. You look down at CJ Stroud in Houston, they've had a few injuries on the offensive line. And over the past 4 weeks, CJ Stroud has looked honestly like shit. When you look at his numbers over the last couple weeks. So even the great CJ Stroud, when he starts having offensive line issues, can have some problems. But the thing is, you have to adjust, and you have to find a way to scheme some of these players open, because a lot of those other sacks that were taken, 2.5, 3 seconds in when you need to be throwing the ball, there's nobody open. And it's tough to make that make sense. And some of these pass concepts where you have 3 or 4 Bears players that end up running the routes in the same area of the field, and there's like 6 Patriots around him. You know what I mean? So those are some of the problems that they're having right now. And it's ridiculous to watch. But anyway, game on, sports news and picks for 20. Hey, Ryan, how do you feel about the Bears losing to my Pats? That's the most embarrassing loss that I can remember recently as a Chicago Bears fan. And I actually really like Drake May. He didn't play great or anything last week. Or yesterday. He didn't. I think it was 15 for 26, somewhere around there. Had 1 bad pick. Should have had 2. A dropped interception in the end zone that the Bears should have picked off. But the Patriots were at least able to pick up a couple third downs when they needed to. Extend some drives when they needed to. The Bears were just abysmal. They just were. Play when it's 3rd and 3 at midfield, kind of in 4-down territory. And instead of just calling a run up the gut, you call, one of those kind of orbit plays. DJ Moore comes in motion, wraps around, shoots out. You throw a screen pass for DJ Moore. Let me see if I can fucking find this, honestly. Here you go. This is one of my favorite play calls of the game by the Chicago Bears. Right here. Let's watch this. So you bring DJ Moore in motion. It's 3rd and 3, okay? Beginning of the second half. 3rd and 3, definitively like 4-down territory right here, depending on kind of the situation of the game. You pick up 1 or 2 yards, 4th and short, you might consider going for it, or maybe you punt, because you're not going to hit a field goal with Cairo Santos at this range. And instead of just running up the gut, you do this.
It's DJ Moore in motion.
You throw a screen pass to DJ Moore. So this starts 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So instead of a play where you need 3 yards, right, to get a first down, now you need 9 yards to get to the first down. And Keenan Allen apparently don't give a fuck. Here's Keenan Allen blocking out there. Jesus fucking Christ. And this is just the story, right? Players are not bought in. Players are not playing hard. I love my man Keenan Allen. And, maybe he's waiting to see the ball out of the hands before he engages the block because he didn't want to get a penalty or anything like this, but not looking. Doesn't make the block.
Was anticipated and
Play gets blown up, so now you can't go for fourth, or you can't go for it on fourth. Drive's fucking over. And that is just every single play call ends up looking somewhat similar to that. But I'm done, almost done. As soon as you get through the super chats, I'm done talking about the Bears. AJ Gutrung for 5. It's okay, Ryan. I'm a Bengals fan, and I don't want to talk about it. The struggle's real. You guys, that sucks. That sucks for you guys. A Thursday night game. Ryan Caleb needs more nail polish. Maybe he does need some, because after the first 2 games, he really stopped showing out. Like, we didn't see this fancy nail polish, all this shit. Maybe he does need more. Maybe that's the key. Caleb needs nail polish to be good. Alex McCarthy, happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service, Ryan. Hey, thank you, Alex. Shout out.
Thanks, Alex.
Dean H is a Browns fan. I feel you guys' pain. Eric K for 5. In the immortal words of John McKay, we didn't tackle well today, but we made up for it by not blocking. Yeah. Let's see. Game on sports news and picks for 10. In all seriousness, like what I'm seeing from May, especially his leadership skills. I really like Drake May. I think he's going to turn out awesome for you guys, honestly. Eric K gives 10 Sports Wars memberships. Thank you. S. Becker for 10. Bullshit. I counted 5 sacks. Williams had time and failed to get rid of the ball. It was driving by me crazy. It was driving by me crazy. You can't, if you're going to call me a retard, S. Becker, you fuck, you better get your English right in the goddamn super chat. If you're going to do that, if you're going to call someone an idiot or stupid or retard, regardless of whatever your opinion might be, you better at least fucking grammar check that shit. So now, anything you say, I can't take seriously, S. Becker. I'm just going to say it because you didn't even check the super chat. It was driving by me crazy, retard. Thanks, S. Becker. I appreciate the super chat. Let me check over on Rumble, see if we have anything. John Getz, Tomlin's decision, my cries for Wilson, even when the Steelers were 3-0, continue to be proven correct. Beautiful passes under pressure that Fields can never make. Ravens showdown upcoming. Yes, that was an awesome game. Let's get started with that game, shall we? Let's talk about that game for a second. If I can get, I got my wrong things in place here. There we go. All right. My screen's got all fucked up. Here we go. Steelers, Commanders. Now, I did predict in this game that the Steelers would walk away with the victory in a close one against the Washington Commanders. I thought that Steelers defense was going to give Jaden Daniels problems, and it did. This stat line actually very similar to the stat line Jaden Daniels had against the Bears a couple weeks ago, if you take away that last drive where they gave him the free 15-yard pass and, of course, the Hail Mary that resulted in the touchdown. Very similar stat line for Jaden Daniels. Pittsburgh Steelers helped out the Commanders by the crazy fake punt call in the shadow of their own end zone. They end up turning the ball over, and the ball should have been caught. It was a great play call if the guy would have actually caught the pass, but they ended up turning the ball over like the 15 or 10-yard line, a pretty easy touchdown conversion for Washington down there. But it all came down to the wire. Russell Wilson leads a touchdown drive with a great throw. Was it fourth down? Was it third or fourth down? That touchdown pass to Mike Williams, freshly acquired Mike Williams. That's what Mike Williams is for, those big deep balls like that. And he came through clutch. Small package of plays out there for Mike Williams because of the new acquisition, but he converted and it was amazing. Russell Wilson didn't play great, threw a pick, not super efficient, but he did have those 3 touchdowns. George Pickens, it seems like every game he comes down with just an insane play. Yeah. George Pickens is awesome. But yeah, the Steelers are now 7-2, and they beat the Commanders at home.
Yeah, man, the Steelers are looking good with Russ. It's crazy how that offense just opens up with Russell Wilson back there when you have a quarterback who can actually be a deep ball threat. The running backs, too, you had Jalen Warren and Najee Harris on the ground, and your running backs can actually do something when you have a, more talented passing quarterback than Justin Fields. So This game, I believe it was a 2-point spread yesterday. So the Bucs again got this one damn near correct. Instant classic. I knew it was going to be a classic game as well. And now with the Redskins loss, you see the Eagles at the top of the NFC East.
Yeah, things suddenly change for Washington. And that Pittsburgh defense is really fucking good.
Hell yeah.
And with their pass rushers able to contain Jaden Daniels, and that's kind of what we saw. Even when he was able to get outside the pocket, some of those guys are athletic enough to chase him down and limit that damage. And instead of on 3rd and 7, Jaden Daniels escaping and scrambling for 8, 9, 10 yards, converting a first down, instead they're able to chase him out, after a 2 or 3 yard gain. And those are some of the differences that you saw in his capability of being able to extend drives. But yeah, dude, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and before the season, when they got Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and you're thinking, man, is this just going to be another 9-8? We were hammering the Steelers in the offseason, thinking, it's going to be another 9-8 season for Mike Tomlin, where, hey, they're in playoff contention, but don't have any capability. This team, the way it's built right now, is capable. They've got one of the best defenses in the league. They gave up a lot of points, but they were put in pretty rough positions a couple times in the game. But this defense, incredible pass rush, playmakers on the back end, and now with Russell Wilson actually being able to make some of these plays, actually being a playmaker, get the ball to their playmakers, Pittsburgh's a team, man, and everything's going well for them. Mike Tomlin's feeling it right now, and he should be, because he made the right decision, even though a lot of people were screaming at him not to make that change. And man, that team's fired up, and they love playing for that coach.
Yes, they do. Yep.
They love playing for that coach. But let's get back to some of these. We already went over the Patriots and the Bears. We already went over the Giants and the Panthers. Now Bills, Colts. Now Josh Allen, a couple picks in this game. Joe Flacco, a couple picks in this game too. 3 interceptions for Joe Flacco.
One was a pick six, right?
One was a pick six in like the very start of the game. There was another one that he got picked on a screenplay that, man, I don't know if you really put that one on Joe Flacco necessarily. It was kind of unexpected the way that turned out. But yeah, and it took the Bills a little while to actually pull away, despite the fact that the Colts continue to make mistake after mistake. But Buffalo Bills win. They improved to 8-2 on the season. And I still say, dude, I don't want to play the Buffalo Bills. This is with arguably their top 2 wide receivers out. Keon Coleman, that wrist, and I think Cooper is a risk too, right? Amari Cooper's also got a wrist injury.
I'm not sure what his injury is.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
I think Cooper's got a sore wrist as well. So when those guys get back, that offense is going to open up, or should open up more.
But yeah, I mean, Josh Allen, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, but when you're throwing the ball for 280 yards and putting your team in good position, you have James Cook back there. He did rush for a touchdown, but you have James Cook as well. I'm right there with you. I would not want to play the Bills right now. They are they're scary good, and I've been hard on the Bills. I've been hard on the Bills, talking about how their window's closed. It doesn't look like it at all. They are a really talented team, and they have years of experience, man. They have years of experience. And say what you want about Sean McDermott. This is another team where these players, they like playing for their coach, and they're well put together, man. They are well-oiled machines. So, and the Indianapolis Colts, what's their next move going to be? How many more games with Joe Flacco playing like this? Or are you going to see this where it's like, oh man, well, the Colts, they're going to go back to Anthony Richardson, and then Joe Flacco has like a four touchdown game.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like the reality is this game wouldn't be within reach for the Colts if Anthony Richardson had been in the game, right? If they go down by 13 or 10, 13, whatever points, they're not getting back. Joe Flacco at least gives you a chance to come back in this game. It didn't happen. He didn't play great, but the only passing attack you have back for the Colts is going to be with Joe Flacco there. Like, bottom line.
Agreed.
All right. What next? It'll actually fucking load for me. Broncos, Chiefs.
Yep.
We thought that this was going to be it. We thought that this was going to be the moment where the Kansas City Chiefs undefeated run comes to an end. The Denver Broncos were driving down the field, make some big-time conversions. Bo Nix made some big-time plays to get the ball down the field. 38-yard field goal to win it against the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. And what happened? The refs bailed him out. Oh, wait, no, the refs didn't bail him out. Kansas City actually blocked the field goal. A field goal block for Kansas City in the closing seconds of the game to keep this 9-0 season going.
Yeah.
The Kansas City Chiefs continue to find ways somehow, some way to win games, despite their offense not performing the way a lot of us maybe think it should or has the capability to at times, whether it's the defense stepping up in big moments or whether it's special teams stepping up in big moments. Somehow the Chiefs stay alive. I don't know how it happened.
Yeah, the Chiefs have been in close games all season long, and it looks like their back is against the wall. This is going to be the game where they lose, and by some fucking miracle, they pull it out, man. And I had a funny feeling about this game yesterday. I believe it was 7.5. I called for Denver to cover that. I did pick the Chiefs to win, but I was feeling really good. I'm like, man, I would be happy to, lose this game on my record that we have over here.
Just so Kansas City could fucking lose.
So Kansas City can lose, and a fucking blocked field goal, man. Crazy. I don't know what kind of witchcraft and black magic that the Chiefs are doing in their locker room pregame, but it's working. But this team, you're looking at their record 9-0. They are not a 9-0 team. This team, I think if they played the Buffalo Bills, if they played the Baltimore Ravens, you can even maybe throw the Pittsburgh Steelers in there. I don't know if the Chiefs can beat them right now. Beat those teams.
Well, they can, right? They have the capability to.
Right.
But realistically, Kansas City could just as easily be 5-4 this season.
Correct.
As 9-0. When we look at some of these games, when we look at even the first game of the season with just the toe, or was it the toe or the heel? That was
I think it was the toe from Isaiah Likely.
I forget which one it was, but yes. So the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't have Kansas City Chiefs derangement syndrome like some of these people out here, including in the chat. But I am ready for them to lose. They certainly should not be even close to sniffing an undefeated season the way they've been playing.
Yeah.
But they continue to somehow find ways to get it done. Man, oh man.
And Patrick Mahomes, his tenure with Kansas City, he has never been 9-0. I don't think when they went 5-0, I don't even think they've started 5-0 under the Patrick Mahomes tenure. They've always lost a stupid game in the very beginning of the season and then went on a tear. They've never started off undefeated. And
I did say that, I've said multiple times this season, when the Kansas City Chiefs have like a touchdown plus spread, they're probably not going to cover. That's just consistently been the case. Everybody overhypes them in terms of the betting market, overhypes the Chiefs, and more money comes in on them. Typically, the smart move is to kind of wait until the end and then, pick a team like Denver to cover. And I said everyone should pick Denver to cover. I thought it would be close. I certainly didn't think the Kansas City Chiefs would need a blocked field goal to win. I thought they would win, but still, that's just been this Kansas City Chiefs team for the past couple of years.
Right.
But yeah, Chiefs somehow find a way. Speaking of somehow finding a way, the New Orleans Saints, missed field goals were a theme. Missed field goals were a theme this week, okay? The Saints somehow, after losing 7 straight, find a way to beat the Atlanta Falcons. Younghoe Koo, I believe, missed 3 field goals in this game, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 3 missed field goals by Younghoe Koo, who's been very solid for them and has made some big-time kicks for them this year because the Falcons have found themselves in a couple, very close games as well. But they just could not get it done. Bijan Robinson with 2 rushing touchdowns. I love when they give Bijan Robinson the ball because I like watching Bijan Robinson run maybe more than anyone else in the NFL, including guys like Derrick Henry. I love watching Bijan with the ball in his hands because it's fucking magic when he gets out into open space, whether he's running the ball, whether he's a pass catcher, whatever it may be. But the New Orleans Saints, after, a week after their coach gets fired, and that's what the Bears should do as well, they come out on top and beat the Falcons. And now Atlanta would have loved to have this. They would have loved to sit there, go 7-3, especially with the Bucs loss, and really put that out of even imagining, really take a big lead in that division. But instead, here we are. And Tampa Bay's still in it despite losing some close ones.
Yeah, Derek Carr was fed up with the noise, whether outside of the locker room in New Orleans, maybe inside of the locker room, and played some good football yesterday. Kirk Cousins struggling a little bit, but like you said, Bijan Robinson, that dude's a freaking stud. And this Atlanta Falcons team has lost some stupid games where they probably shouldn't have, like Seattle, like this game right here. But this is a divisional matchup, and you often see division games are very close, good, hard-fought games. And the Chiefs just came out on top yesterday in a well-fought game, where, granted, the Atlanta Falcons didn't play their best football yesterday.
Yeah, and I think Rizzi, the interim head coach, was like, he told some story about like he clogged the toilet before the game in the morning, and he thought it was going to be a shitty day because of that. It seems like everybody likes him.
That's funny. He was their special teams coordinator, and their special teams played really well yesterday. Younghoe Koo, he 3 missed field goals yesterday, but one of them was blocked.
Yeah, well, there you go. They can't really blame him for that one. But yeah, but another guy we should talk about, who I believe had 3 missed field goals, was Jake Moody.
Yes.
The San Francisco 49ers are able to escape the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. I picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game. I just felt this is a team that does not give up. And bro, Baker Mayfield, he's a gamer. He always has been a gamer. It doesn't matter what his record is. It doesn't matter how far down they are. Baker Mayfield is a gamer. And man, this team was fighting back, including in the fourth quarter. Baker Mayfield stiff-arming Nick Bosa. At one time, it felt like for 3 seconds, and finally getting a pass off, and they somehow picked up and converted on that fourth down. But it just was not enough. San Francisco is able to win. Brock Purdy played very well. Christian McCaffrey's return, not super efficient on the ground, but as always, very effective catching the ball out of the backfield. And you know, what can you do? Moody shrugs off 3 missed field goals. There were some people that were not happy about this. People were not happy about Jake Moody's missed field goals, including Deebo Samuel. And I want to play this. So apparently, Deebo was so frustrated. And listen, you want guys to have some fight in them. You want guys to hold each other accountable and shit like that. Deebo, apparently, after Jake Moody continued to miss field goals, goes up to Jake Moody and he kind of got in his face and says, hey, motherfucker, lock it in. Like, let's get this shit right. You can't be missing field goals. And Tabor Pepper, the long snapper, comes up to kind of defend Jake Moody. Look at Deebo. He starts choking him and then fucking punches them both. He grabs the long snapper by the fucking throat and then kind of swipes at him and hits Jake Moody
hits Jake Moody too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Tabor Pepper, who's the long snapper of special teams.
Yeah. That's a lot of emotion, and these guys are fighting hard. You know, you're coming out of the bye week. Deebo, he doesn't want to hear that.
Jeez.
And listen, all's well that ends well. They win the game. Be a much different story if they lost the game or if Jake Moody wasn't able to hit that game-winning field goal. Maybe the story is a little bit different, but this is a San Francisco 49ers team that obviously we all had very, very high expectations for going into this season after a Super Bowl appearance and loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. Things have been up and down for them. They've lost some games you wouldn't expect them to lose. They've struggled with injuries. But now they are 5-4, still not first in their division because of Arizona Cardinals.
And Deebo hasn't, been having himself the kind of year that we're used to seeing from Deebo. Granted, there's been some injuries. He's been banged up, but he's kind of always banged up, and he still plays through it. And that's kind of been the story of the 49ers, especially this year, just with all of their stars out. The return for McCaffrey yesterday, 40 yards on the ground. So, I mean, this is the 49ers, though, squeaking away with some wins in a very competitive NFC West division here. So,
yeah, and Baker 18 for 29, 116 yards. Not a great stat line, but if you watch the game, they were fighting.
Yes, they
it
were.
It was fighting. Obviously, losing Mike Evans, losing Godwin for the year. Mike Evans, maybe he'll come back in the next couple weeks. We don't really know. I think he had that hamstring injury that it was kind of bothering him. But hey, they put up a fight.
Yeah.
Put up a fight. I wish they had won the game because I picked them, but what can you do?
Yep.
We went over Steelers Commanders. Vikings Jags. What a fucking awful game to watch.
Horrible game.
Sam Darnold, 3 picks. They did not score. I don't think they scored any touchdowns in the game.
I don't think they did either. Yep, all field goals.
And Mac Jones and the Jacksonville Jaguars were in it till the very end.
Yep, he had himself a touchdown pass yesterday, right?
He did have
early on in the game.
I don't know if the touchdown pass. I don't know if that.
I don't think it counted. It might have got called back. You're right.
Yeah, I think it got called back. But yeah, Mac Jones, 14 for 22, 111 yards, 2 picks. Man, everyone hates Mac Jones. Even his teammates at some points in time, it feels like they hate Mac Jones. But Mac Jones makes an appearance for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence could not go in this game. And this just continues the misery of this season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have been in a lot of close games and really not been able to come out on top in seemingly any of them. But there you go. This is a disappointing season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. How long before Peterson gets fired, you think?
I think they'll wait till the end of the year.
Yeah?
I think so. But I think Doug Peterson is going to get fired, which, unfortunately so, because I do think that he's a good coach. And he's been well for the Jaguars the previous 2 seasons. But whatever disconnect that the Jaguars have in the locker room this year, which we've seen early on, unfortunately, the NFL's a business, and that's just how it goes. He's going to be fired. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Unless they really turn this around and they finish the season 17 game season 7-10. Like, unless they really turn it around, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, and I also think when it comes to Minnesota Vikings, who looked great the first couple of games of this season, looked like one of the best teams in the league, I do feel like we've seen a little bit of coming back to reality for them. And, a couple tight games. Sam Darnold hasn't played nearly as well as he played those first couple games. Thrown a lot of picks the past couple games as well. They may be coming back to reality a little bit. Maybe people have more film on Sam Darnold in this offense. I don't know. But they're 7-2, which is fucking awesome for them. But I don't feel like they're playing nearly as well as they were early in this season. So you have to be a little bit worried if you are a Vikings fan about what the future holds with some of your tougher competition coming up.
And I think that was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time before the Vikings got brought back down to earth. A little bit of a reality check for Minnesota here. So we'll see how they finish off the season, if they're able to get a wild card spot, which I think that they will, but I don't think they're going to make any impressive playoff run.
Yeah, I don't think they're a contender. We'll put it that way necessarily. Titans, Chargers. Listen, man, Will Levis, as much shit as we give Will Levis, he came out there, had a couple great plays, had a big touchdown pass to almost start that game off. Chargers struggled to actually punch it in that first quarter, had some opportunities, but eventually that Chargers talent, prevails. Justin Herbert only had to throw the ball 18 times. The Los Angeles Chargers win handily against the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee, pretty miserable season for them, regardless of whether it's Will Levis or Mason Rudolph at quarterback. Doesn't really matter too much. But at least Calvin Ridley, has a good game. 2 touchdowns for him, including a long one early on in the game. Not much to say about this. Chargers do exactly what we would expect them to do: beat inferior competition at home.
Yeah. And Justin Herbert, man, he's a dude
he ran the ball a lot during this game. A lot of scrambles and some even designed runs, which considering the injury issues he's been having, especially that ankle, I'm a little surprised we saw so much of that, but we saw a lot of it early on in the game, at least.
Yeah, and I love to see Herbert fired up because he's a guy, he's almost kind of like a robot out there. You don't see much emotion out of him. You don't see him talk a lot. He was fired up yesterday for whatever reason. But we seen a different Justin Herbert yesterday. I love that. Yeah, he was getting some work done on the ground as well as Will Levis was. Will Levis had 40 rushing yards yesterday too. So, but yes, this is the Chargers, a not very good Tennessee Titans team against, a very well coached Chargers team. So we expected this, but I love seeing the energy from Justin Herbert yesterday.
Yeah, I love Justin Herbert. I love watching him play. I just do.
Yep.
And just as a reminder, the idea that the Chicago Bears decided to hang on to Matt Eberflus when Harbaugh was right there. Like a former player, Harbaugh, you could have had an opportunity. You could have got Vrabel. You could have got Cliff Kingsbury, who wanted to come there and be the offensive coordinator and work with Caleb Williams again. Instead, where does he go? He goes to fucking Washington. Look what they're doing with Jaden Daniels in Washington. Ben Johnson was interested in coming there, and look what they're doing in Detroit. Yet the Chicago Bears stuck with Matt Eberflus, and they hire Shane fucking Waldron. Fucking cocksuckers. Just for the record. I want to get that out there. Back to the games. Eagles, Cowboys. I'm not going to lie. Remember when we talked about how, hey, this could be one of those games where the Eagles make some mistakes and the Cowboys early in the game, maybe the second half, and maybe it was a fumble by the Eagles or something. I'm like, holy shit, maybe they will blow this. That didn't sustain for very long.
No,
they didn't even need a massive game from Saquon Barkley. The Dallas Cowboys are shit. They just are. When your own stadium is working against you at times, blinding receivers in the end zone. More questioning of some of the decisions Jerry Jones has made throughout the course of his life and his ownership of the Cowboys. But Cowboys say they're staying with Cooper Rush, that they're not going anywhere. You got players like Micah Parsons mouthing off about, I don't know if, McCarthy's going to be there. That's above my pay grade, shit like that, where he's been injured all fucking season anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys are imploding.
Yeah, the Cowboys are fucking horrible. We seen a Trey Lance sighting yesterday because Cooper Rush was ineffective for nearly all of the game. We also saw a Kenny Pickett sighting yesterday because Jalen Hurts put the Eagles on his back yesterday. 4 total touchdowns, 2 touchdown passes, 2 rushing touchdowns. He had himself.
I don't count tush pushes. I don't give a fuck about those. Those don't count and are gay as shit. So those can just go out of the stat line. But yes, he did have 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, Saquon Barkley, you know what? He a little bit of a break. He's had 2 really big back-to-back games the past couple of weeks. So, but yeah, I mean, this Eagles team, they're much more touted than this fucking Cowboys team. The Cowboys fucking stink. And this is, listen, I know that my Giants have a worse record than the Cowboys, but the Cowboys fucking suck. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Eagles, but I do love seeing when any team puts the smackdown on the Cowboys. So,
yeah. Not really much to say about this.
0-4 at home.
Yeah, that is like the biggest surprise because they have been, regardless of whatever else the Cowboys have been over the last several years, they've been very good at home, typically, traditionally, right? Not the fucking case, man. Not the fucking case here. Their first game at home, when they opened that new stadium, do you remember who they played?
When they opened the new stadium, I believe that they played the Giants, and the Giants beat them.
Was it the Giants? I was thinking it might have been.
I'm almost certain it was
the first game there.
They lost the first game. Believe it was to the Giants, and Eli Manning signed the locker room wall. The first win in Jerry World, Eli Manning signed an autograph on the visiting team wall in there.
Cowboys lose first game at AT&T Stadium. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah. It was the Giants.
It was the Giants?
Yeah.
There you go. September 20th, 2009. They lose the first game. Roger Goodell was there. All these people, they brought everybody out. Fucking Troy Aikman. Yeah, Eli Manning tagging the locker room wall.
Yep.
There it was.
Classic.
Yeah,
and then the windows, man. CeeDee Lamb dropping a wide open touchdown because of the sun peeking through the windows. And
yeah. It was probably thrown a little bit behind him, but if he had been able to pick it up, he probably wouldn't have been able to make that catch. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But he had no idea where it fucking was. He just kept running.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is becoming a big story And that is the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray, despite the fact that it is indeed Call of Duty season.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray has been playing extraordinarily well the last couple weeks.
Yes, he has.
The Arizona Cardinals are in first place in their division, which I don't know how many people would have predicted that before this season. I think people would have predicted all of these other teams as opposed to Arizona before they would have picked Arizona. But Kyler Murray, very efficient. Obviously can make plays with his legs whenever he needs to. And the New York Jets are 3-7. Aaron Rodgers, at one point, I think he went back to the locker room and stuff like this. This Jets team, bro, a sad, pathetic failure for the New York Jets this season compared to what their expectations were.
Yeah. They have been exponentially worse since getting Devontae Adams. Which a lot of people are saying, oh, this was the missing piece. This is Rodgers' boy. They have so much history. Yeah. They're on the same page. Well, clearly not in New York. Kyler Murray was running around like crazy yesterday. He also had 2 rushing touchdowns, and one of them was really impressive. I wonder what the long was on that one rushing touchdown. Anyways, regardless, a passing touchdown. One was freaking. There was this play where Kyler was just running around in a circle. It looked like the play was broken and dead, and then you just see him just throw it up like almost straight vertically into the air. Like, what the hell is he doing? Is he throwing it away? And then the tight end number 85, Trey McBride, is just there all alone, and then just that. What a crazy play,
McBride, dude.
Yeah.
Attempts a lot of hurdles for some reason, but I like Trey McBride.
Yeah, he had a nice hurdle yesterday.
He did. Arizona Cardinals, they're playing awesome. They just are. Not just against the Chicago Bears, apparently. And then this game, bro, Detroit Lions against the Houston Texans. We've been saying pretty consistently all year, and this was before the Houston Texans had dropped a couple, that even though Houston's record was solid, they weren't playing very well. And specifically over the past couple weeks, CJ Stroud has not been playing well. Now, some offensive line issues that have forced that, things like that, certainly and understandable. But listen, man, when the other team throws 5 interceptions like Jared Goff did, and Jared Goff, not going to bash him, 5 interception night, had an off night. Okay. He's been fucking incredible this season. But every once in a while, he does have games like this. 5 interceptions, and the motherfuckers still win the game. I think the last time that happened was Matt Ryan, probably 10, 12, 15 years ago. I don't fucking know. But 5 picks, and the Detroit Lions somehow managed to win this game against the Houston Texans. A very sloppy-ass game, but it was fun to watch because you never knew it was going to happen. There was this one point, Dan Campbell gives the after halftime interview to the sideline reporter, and he's just red-faced. You could tell he was probably just screaming in the locker room because they were down like 7-23 after the first half. And he's just fucking, you could tell he was screaming at halftime, probably bitched everybody out. He's like, we just got to get out there next to you, and we need a turnover. We need to get a turnover. We turn this thing around. And as they're replaying his halftime interview where he says he needs to get a turnover, CJ Stroud throws a fucking interception.
Wow.
And it was one of the wildest things to watch, right? Because usually they don't say anything of value in those halftime in those halftime speeches or halftime exit interviews. But that was pretty funny to watch. Bro, the Houston Texans, they need to shore up that offensive line a little bit because as brilliant as CJ Stroud has looked through his young career, we're starting to see a couple games in a row with stat lines that do not look very stellar once he doesn't have this protection like he had a little bit more last season. 19-33, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Jared Goff, 2 picks, 5 interceptions. But they still managed to win. Just to set it up, at the end of the game, the Texans have the ball. They're driving down. They get a long field goal attempt. I think it was maybe a 52, 56-yard attempt, something like that. Miss the attempt, so that gives the Detroit Lions the ball with decent field position. They only had to go maybe 20, 30 yards. They attempt a long field goal of their own. It goes in just by the skin of the kicker's teeth. Great story with Bates, that kicker, by the way, who was selling bricks not that long ago. And he made a 58-yarder and a 52-yarder game-winning field goal, just slides in the upright, and the Detroit Lions keep winning, man.
CJ Stroud yesterday was sacked 4 times for a total loss of 40 yards. That's wild.
How many times?
4 times for 40 yards.
Yeah.
Loss.
I don't even want to know what the stat line is for Caleb Williams. 9 times for I don't know how many yards. But yeah.
Well, let me look it up.
You could find it, I'm sure. Let me guess. 9 for 69 yards.
9 for loss of 51.
Hey, there you
you go. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad. 9 sacks for 51. That's not bad.
Not too bad. God. I'm not going to talk about the Bears anymore. But Detroit sitting there at 8-1. I think they're a far better team than the Minnesota Vikings, who are right behind them in the standings.
Mm-hmm.
I think Green Bay's solid, but I think Detroit has this in hand. They're dealing with some offensive line injuries and stuff like that as well. But you power through, you replace, you put Dan Skipper in there, and everything's fine. I can't believe they fucking won this game. The Houston Texans need to do a little bit of soul searching, I suppose, but you have to feel like shit if you cause 5 interceptions. And Jared Goff was playing amazing coming into this. Not very efficient today. Pressure got to him a little bit, especially early in the game. 5 picks, and you still lose at home. Fuck.
Yep. And the Lions also missing maybe their best player, Aiden Hutchinson, out for the year.
Yes. And
they're still haven't missed a beat.
Who'd they trade for from Cleveland at the trade deadline?
I
forget his name. Edge pass rusher who was not active in this game, but just because he wasn't quite ready to go, probably didn't quite know, whatever, but he will be ready for them going forward. Maybe that helps improve their pass rush a little bit as well.
Yep.
But that was a hell of a fucking game. Not a great game in terms of execution, but a fun game to watch. Unless you're a Houston Tech. Yeah, Zadarius Smith. Thank you, guys. Zadarius Smith. That's who they traded for. And now tonight, Beardo, we got the Dolphins and the Rams. Now I'm taking the Rams in this game. The spread is only 2. Still a lot of respect paid, apparently, to Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa. Has not looked great since he's come back. I think they've dropped the last 2 games since Tua came back. But certainly at any given time with this offense, they can be very explosive. I think the Rams are playing decent football, and I think they lost a couple of games they could have won. They've been dealing with injuries, certainly, especially on the offensive line and at the wide receiver position for a while. But I got the Rams tonight because I think they're as healthy as they've been in a little while.
Yeah, I got the Rams too. I think they're finally starting to get their rhythm going here. They were really banged up to start the season. Finally getting Cooper Kupp back, got Puka Nacua back if he's not throwing hands and throwing haymakers in the first half of tonight's game. This just seems like a spot where the Rams just win this one. I have absolutely zero confidence. I don't fucking care that Tua's back. This Dolphins team also stinks. So give me the Rams for sure.
Yeah. Over under of 50 right now. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the Dolphins can do.
I like the under.
I probably do as well, but these teams also can rack up some points pretty quick. But in general, I probably like that under 2. Well, there you have it.
Yes, sir.
That's the week. I hate football right now with a passion.
I'm not a fan. The Giants stink. The Trojans stink. All of my teams stink. The Angels stink. I'm not rooting for any teams that are actually good. So fuck it. Yeah, and I was rooting for, you know what? I like Baker. I at least hope the Bucs do well for the rest of the season. And they fucking lost yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a rough life. I mean, I'm
you know what? Maybe I do. Virtual reality fitness. Maybe I do.
I'm a Purdue fan and a Bears fan. So it's been a rough year for me. I'm excited for basketball season. Lord Both, all I can say is it's nice to be a Chiefs fan. I'm sure it is. I just only hope you're a Chiefs fan before the last 5 years. A lot of bandwagoners out there, including Taylor Swift. I guess it's understandable if you're dating someone on the team, but still. TJ, it's definitely been rough being a Giants fan. You guys have 2 Super Bowls over the past 2 decades, okay?
Yeah.
Like, you can't complain too much.
I know.
I got 1 Super Bowl, 85. Well, 86, but 85 season.
Mm-hmm.
This organization it's the same shit. Literally the same shit over and over and over again. Hey, ready to move off. Let's draft Mitch Trubisky, but hang on to John Fox. Hang on to John Fox, but draft Mitch Trubisky. Okay, doesn't go well. Fire John Fox. Bring in Matt Nagy, right? Look at what they're doing in Kansas City. Matt Nagy comes in. Actually some success. The first playoff appearance, right? The last playoff appearance I think we've had for a while, obviously with Mitch Trubisky. Things don't go well. Need a change. Probably should get rid of Matt Nagy. Nope, not going to get rid of Matt Nagy. We're going to hold on to Matt Nagy and we're going to draft Justin Fields. Next year, fucking Matt Nagy's fired. Justin Fields is still there. So start over in year 2, Matt Eberflus. We're bringing in Matt Eberflus. He's there for 2 years. It's fucking horrible. It's awful. And even some of those wins are false wins. Look at the people that we beat, right? Not the teams, the quarterbacks. Look at the quarterbacks that the Bears beat over that period of time. Fucking awful. Guys like Josh Dobbs, right? These are the list of people that the Bears were beaten, even for some of those wins. Get rid of Justin Fields. Time to start over. Caleb fucking Williams, get the number 1 draft pick. We're going to hang on to Matt Eberflus. Well, guess what? Literally, the process is just starting over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's a fucking broken record because it's a broken franchise, because it's a broken ownership group, because they don't want to pay 2 coaches at the same time. And they're afraid to hire a coach who might make too big of a splash because we're a professional organization. Fuck you. George McCaskey, I can't wait till all the McCaskeys just fucking die. And maybe they're forced to fucking sell the team to somebody who will actually do something good with them. Fuck the McCaskey family. Anyway.
There you go.
Heart and soul, Ryan, thanks for your service. My Panthers showest. Hold on. Ryan, thanks for your service. My Panthers showest Mountie on O-line made BY look competent. Pippen holds for Hubbard. Panther Sarah still suck though. I just think you're drunk, but thank you, Hard and Soul. John Getz, Pickens loves having a QB who can throw deep now. George Pickens is revitalized. There's no doubt. Mm-hmm. Chris Cranf, please skip over my Bucs game. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't get to this in time, Chris. UNSC Connor for 2. Bills Chiefs next week in Buffalo. Big game there.
That'll be awesome.
Big game. Professor Savage Dad for 5. If Ryan's head is a football field, his eyes are on the offense's 40-yard line. Also, what's up, green-haired anti-liberal? Thanks, Professor Savage Dad. Taker for 5. Wait, did Beardo pronounce an Asian person's name correctly? On the bright side, maybe Arch will force his way to the Giants, like Eli did.
To be fair, I heard Ryan pronounce his name just moments before I said it, so he can't give me too much. Yeah, he can't give me too much credit for that one.
Rob Cortez for $199. That stadium's been pretty good for the Packers. Yeah, Soldier Field. They've won 10 or 11 straight at Soldier Field.
Sheesh.
The Packers have won.
Yeah.
Mr. Kennedy. Nobody beats Goff. Not even Goff. Apparently, that's the case. VJ the Vigilant. Texans lost because of their stupid uniforms. Yeah, I didn't like the helmets. I didn't mind the uniforms. I didn't like the helmets.
Oh, the H-Town uniforms? Oh, no. The red ones.
There was a lot of red on them, but they had like shiny red helmets.
Yeah.
Which I didn't like. I didn't like the helmet on there.
It looked better if they were matte red.
The Jags were those I wouldn't mind the matte red ones. Yeah, the white
helmets yesterday.
I didn't mind that actually. But,
you know what I liked? I liked the all black Panthers helmets that they were wearing yesterday. Those look cool.
Yeah, those are cool. Eduardo Cuevas, how hard would Nick Bosa have tackled Baker if Trump lost? I think Baker's a Trump guy too, so I don't know if he would have. I think that Nick Bosa was like giving him a chance there. He was like, "I'm not going to drag you down, Baker. Trump won. We're all in this together. Maggot, give it a shot, buddy." I think that's what happened. Dean H, boy, I wish the Browns had a coach like Bill Belichick. Oh wait, he was there at one point. But over on Rumble, Jose Contreras, happy Veterans Day, Ryan. I'm stuffed with all the free food today. Now go you get your free spaghetti at Fazoli's. Dude, I'm so fucking depressed by the Bears. I didn't go out or anything today. Fuck it. I'm not going to do it. John Guess for $1. I'll never complain too much about the Steelers because we win and we have consistent head coaches, but my goodness, not having a vertical passing game for years was boring to watch. Yeah, you got a real team now.
Mm-hmm.
You got a real team now, which is good. Congratulations for you guys. I thought I had one. You know, the craziest part is that with all these issues, right, that the Bears have had, if that Hail Mary doesn't happen, I don't know if this team is where it is. If you don't have that soul-crushing loss, followed by the coaches refusing to take accountability, followed by a week worth of fucking crazy press, and by benching the player. And I get it. You feel like you need to punish Tyreek Stevenson. What he did was stupid, but Tyreek Stevenson is a better option than some of the other DBs you have. Him on the field gives you the best chance to win. This isn't fucking college, okay, where you bench a guy for a half to teach him a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta understand, make him take accountability and apologize in front of everybody. And he did, and he learns his lesson. This is professional sports. And they made a decision to not play Tyreek Stevenson, despite the fact that it gives them a better chance to win. And I think a lot of players saw that and didn't respect it. And the coaches have completely lost the players, all the players. And as much shit as I gave Caleb Williams, you know, in college or whatever, especially for the fucking crying shit, which I thought was bitch made as fuck. He's getting beaten to a fucking pulp out there. And he's saying all the right things in front of the camera. He's saying all the right things. He's the one that's taking more accountability or ownership than anybody else on the team, coach-wise. And I at least respect that, because right now, this is a very flimsy situation. A lot of Bears players are shit-talking the coaching staff. They're openly questioning the calls. They're openly calling for the coaches' heads. Caleb Williams has kept it above board and has, you know, continued to get up after being beat down every single fucking week. So I at least appreciate that. It could easily go off the rails. At least I think so.
You remember that draft night text Caleb Williams sent the punter and says you're not going to be punting a lot this year?
Bro, that was a fucking rough one.
Yeah.
Freezing cold takes. You ain't going to be punting much this year. Only 45 times. Do you like TB12 as a commentator? He's growing on me. The first couple games were rough.
He's gotten a lot better.
He's gotten better, and we've all gotten more used to it. Remember, people hated Tony Romo initially as well. And then slowly he became everybody's favorite. And now he's been around long enough that people are fucking sick and tired of Tony Romo. That is how it goes for all of these commentators, right?
Yep.
That's the cycle.
We all like Greg Olsen, though. Greg Olsen's a good color commentator.
Great tight end for the Chicago Bears, too. So Beardo can say that his Giants spoiled the Patriots in Brady's would-be perfect season.
This is true. I will forever have that. I know exactly where I was watching that Super Bowl.
Was Something Wong with ATL's kicker? There was. It's like, I think he came in with the Chargers and was fucking awful and got cut. And he made a resurgence with Atlanta. So Younghoe Koo, bringing it back. All right, guys, that is it for us. We're going to get out of here and watch some Monday Night Football and get the stench and bad taste and everything else of this Bears season out of my mouth, at least for a night, with some whiskey. But that's about it. What do you got going on, Beardo?
Nothing, just doing some Geeks and Gamers play video games tonight and watching the football game. So that's pretty much it.
There you go. All right, guys. We will talk to you on Sunday for the Sports War stream in the morning. And again, we'll be back next week, same time for Monday evening quarterback, where I'm sure I'll be talking about another loss to the Green Bay Packers. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye.